Hi, Mark McNutt here. I've been an astrologer for a while, and I'm here at Living Well Nature Spirit Sanctuary with the salmon spawning in the creek in the background, and coming to you live this Halloween. We're going to be talking about the new moon in Scorpio and what that portends. There's a lunar eclipse coming up on the 19th of November, and also a little bit about the Samhain, about the season, which I'm going to start with. Samhain, which is also sometimes referred to as All Hallowed Eve or Halloween, it predates the Day of the Dead and has everything to do with it. There's pretty much everywhere in the northern hemisphere, there's a belief that the souls of the dead rise at this time of year for a day and basically party down. This is the time of the rebirth, the time of the beginning of the Celtic New Year, and for me, it's the awareness of the dark quarter. We're moving into the dark quarter of the year, which is from early November to early February. And that's a time of decreased light here in the northern hemisphere. And this brings up the shadow energy. So the sun is in Scorpio. The moon has just will be going into Scorpio, and we'll have a new moon on the 4th of the month, November 4th. And that time is it's a time to recognize the dark, the going in, the darkness which offsets light. There's a saying. Sometimes people say, I have no shadow, and it's like, well, then you have no light, because the light is offset by the darkness. So it's very necessary to go into the importance of the exhale of this time of year. So I want you all to, as your homework, to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in the time and the integration, breathe out what no longer serves. So going into the darkness does not need to be a dark experience. It can be really enlightening, if you pardon the pun there, because we get to see the light so much better when it's offset. So that brings up the sun in Scorpio. Scorpio is pretty much, most northern hemisphere cultures recognize the Scorpio time. Whether the constellation was a scorpion or a serpent or a this or a that, it was all about the death and rebirth cycle that is so important this time of year. Scorpio traditionally has to do with sex, death, deep magic, the life and death cycles. And here on Deadwood Creek, where I've lived for decades, when the sun goes into Scorpio, the salmon show up, and that they spawn. And I don't know if you've ever seen, there's a t-shirt, spawn until you die. And so that's the motto of Scorpio. So the sex mysteries are connected with the life and death mysteries in all cultures, and it's a time of deep introspection. So it's possible that you've lost somebody this last year, at which point this is a good time to do honoring. And it's also possible, and also commune with the spirits of the dead, the ancestors, the spirits of the land, because this is a very deeply magical time. And this is a time to set magical intentions and carry them out and incubate them in a way, in a womb-like setting within yourself, so that you can release into the spring and the creativity of that time, when it becomes an outward cycle. This is an inner cycle that's going on. Some people don't like, some people are a little afraid of the dark, and we see this in early December, where people on the day after Thanksgiving, or even before that, need to set out their Christmas lights. That's a little early. Go into the dark. Allow it to happen. So the sun is always in Scorpio, October 23rd to November 21st or so. And then the moon, the new moon is in Scorpio of November 4th and 5th. Mars also moves into Scorpio at this time. And And so things can be really intense under these aspects. The sun is going to be opposite Uranus at the time, sun and moon opposite Uranus at the time of the eclipse. Sorry, of the new moon next month. I'm thinking ahead of myself. Next month there is an eclipse, and so don't expect things to go as planned. So I'm telling you to incubate this time, to incubate and to go within. But this is not a map or template where you're totally in charge, because whatever needs to happen needs to be readjusted at this time. This is a time for transformation. It's a time of deep change. It's a time when the earthquakes and volcanoes can happen, because it's not so much a retribution as it is a readjustment that goes on. So first we have Libra in the fall, which is the sign of balance, and then the balance goes into intensity under the sun in Scorpio, which then leads to the liberation of the sun in Sagittarius. During this lunation, Mars just entering Scorpio, Mercury also just entering Capricorn, and it's a powerful time, but it's a time for indwelling. It's not, to be confused with the high summer where it's all dramatic and outward. It's going to be more of the emotional dramas rather than the physical dramas, if you will. So I always look forward to this time of year. Those of you like me that have a lot of water planets probably really enjoy this murky energy. But there's so much depth to it. Picture like a deep forest green in the color of like deep waters, just and the depths, not necessarily murky like death rot magic, but also the beauty of the deep tones, the beauty, the art, the poetry of this time now is just really, really powerful. So I'm looking forward to this time. Everyone has a different relationship to it, but it's going to be a really powerful time for, you can expect by the full moon, that is November 19th, there's going to be a lot of shifts happening, a lot of planets moving into new signs, Mars, Mercury, Venus, and things could get really intense. They're going to be different for each person, but very dynamic. And I always offer these as an overview to what's going on now. This is not to be confused with a reading. It's a reading of the big picture. As far as you as an individual, your map is going to be dramatic and intense, but how? Well, that's why you get a reading, because a reading is a very personal manifestation of these attributes and of opportunities. Someone once called me an opportunist, and I thought about it a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, I'm an astrologer. An astrologer is an opportunist. It has to do with the opportunity of timing and getting the timing right or correct. And so I can give you the big picture, but what it's really unfair to do is to distill that down and boil it down without losing the essence, and describe the particulars to everybody, because your particulars are going to be different than your neighbor born in a different time and place. So get that reading. My astrological new year is November 7th, and that's when I celebrate my rebirth as an astrologer. It'll be 54 years since I started this. So go forward and delve into deep magic. And supporting this, Mercury is also going into Scorpio. It's going to once again conjunct Mars over the next few weeks. They haven't really gotten out of it. So there's a definite antsiness in the air. There's a definite motivation and on like a natural irritation that can actually make movement happen right now. And that continues over the month. And there's Venus in Capricorn, moving in Capricorn. And Venus in Capricorn should pull things together in a lot of ways about um, your social life, your adjustments with your business, with your interface between your work world and your relationship world, and that's going to get more and more dynamic, culminating with Venus conjunct Pluto towards the end of the month, and Mars in Scorpio, yeah, usually makes things more intense. I know some people are like, oh, that Mars in Libra, it's great, and I got a lot of, comments from people about like, I wish Mars would, get out of Libra because it can be a little wimpy in Libra. But that's not what's coming up. What's coming up, very dynamic, very powerful. So don't sleep through it. Remember to wake up and wake up to yourself. And in that realm, though, remember the deep magic sometimes happens in the dark. And at times like these, we can make more movement than the more stagnant times. So I'm looking forward to it, and I wish you well at this time. And feel free to subscribe to our channel and like us. All this is a vote of confidence during the dark times, and I look forward to seeing how it all goes and helping you in your path as well as best I can. So blessings on your path, and blessings on the salmon and the creek and this powerful time of spawning and rebirth. So Mark McNutt signing off from you from Living Well Nature Spirit Sanctuary in Deadwood, Oregon. And we're not doing any workshops at this time of year, obviously, and with COVID still looming over us. But we look forward to sharing our land and our sanctuary in the springtime and all that. And so we're going to go on today with Hecate's Feast and enjoying dark foods this Halloween day, and just reveling in the spirit. So wishing you the same. Go to the dark side and come back out.